There's gonna be a lot of people who are not okay with the person that you're becoming this year. There's gonna be a lot of people who are uncomfortable with the person that you are becoming, whether that's someone that's more outspoken, whether that's someone that's more successful than them, whether that's someone who is just on a vibration that just doesn't match whatever energy that person's on. You know, like people sometimes, like, they just don't like to see you doing better. Like, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Marissa. Welcome back. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome. So on this channel, you're gonna find all things dance, fitness. We talk about self-improvement, becoming your best self, just stepping into the best version of yourself. So if that sounds good to you, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button before we get started on today's topic so you can get notified whenever I upload new videos. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for tuning into another video. Let's get into it. So today we're really going to talk about what you can do when you start feeling like you're outgrowing spaces, when you're outgrowing people, including friends and family. So this can be a really uncomfortable place, not only because you are growing and you might be noticing things about yourself that have changed, positive and negative. Mostly positive. We are going to stay on a positive note today. So say that you are changing for the better. Maybe you're making some changes when it comes to your health. Maybe you're making some career changes. Maybe you are an entrepreneur and you are making changes in your life to complement your lifestyle as an entrepreneur, which can be really tough as well. So I can relate to that as an entrepreneur. Sometimes it can be really difficult to balance social life and entrepreneur life, as well as if you are someone who has another job like myself. I also have a part-time job aside from my business. So it can be really hard to balance. Me personally, I can get hard on myself, or I can overthink when it comes to not spending enough time with friends, not spending enough time with family, not being able to evenly distribute my time between work and friends. So that's definitely been something that I've been struggling with the past couple years that I've been an entrepreneur. And it really takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of isolation to run a business. Sometimes you really just have to buckle down and take time for yourself to really focus on what the next steps are. If you're not an entrepreneur, this can also apply to you. Maybe you're making some changes as far as what type of people you want to be around, right? Maybe you have outgrown your circle of friends. You feel like maybe the things that they're doing, the things that they're into, whatever their lifestyle is, it just doesn't complement yours. It just doesn't go with whatever it is that you're trying to do. You might have friends who go out every weekend, who spend money on alcohol, who really aren't watching what they're spending. They're just out here carelessly, recklessly living life. And maybe that used to be you at some point. Maybe that's just not your lifestyle anymore. Maybe you are a mom now, maybe you're a dad, and your life has also changed because now you're a parent, right? You have another responsibility, you have a child. A certain life that maybe some of your friends are living, it just doesn't fit with your current lifestyle. So how do we approach this, right? Like, how do we make these changes and maneuver? And, you know, when we're outgrowing people, like, how do we go about that without feeling bad? Honestly, I don't have that answer because it's really, really hard, to be honest, to not feel bad. Like, there's always going to be this sense of guilt that you're leaving someone behind, you're leaving your friends behind. Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever changes that you're making in your life, just know that this transition time, it's not gonna last forever, right? Like, transition times are very temporary, and while it may last maybe a year or two, maybe 3 years, depending on where it is you're trying to go, it's not going to be a forever thing. So you have to always just look at the big picture and be like, what is it that I'm striving towards? What is it that I'm working towards? What is it that I want? What's the ultimate goal here? Where do I see myself? For instance, if you're someone who is trying to pay off debt, right? Maybe you have some credit card debt, student loans, things like that. If you're someone who is trying to become financially stable, get rid of debt, get in a better place financially, maybe going out with your friends every weekend, just that's not gonna fit into what you're trying to do, right? That doesn't fit your lifestyle. You're on a budget. So you shouldn't feel bad for doing what's best for you. It's definitely okay to be selfish in order to reach your goals. I'm gonna say that again. It's definitely okay to be selfish in order to reach your goals. I think sometimes we're so concerned with what other people think about us, how other people perceive us, how other people are gonna feel. And sometimes a lot of these thoughts that we have, they're just assumptions, they're just perceptions. Like sometimes people really don't even feel this way, and not saying that people don't, right? Especially those people who might have said certain things to you, but for the most part, like, we make up a lot of things in our head. We assume that people are mad at us. We assume that people aren't gonna wanna be our friends anymore. We assume that people, are gonna think that we think we're better than them, right? And you know what? Maybe sometimes you are better. Maybe you have outgrown certain people. Maybe you are better than what you were doing. Maybe you were around stagnant people who are okay with staying exactly where they are. Maybe you were hanging around people who have no goals. Maybe you were hanging around people who are not smart with their money, people who are just going by life, right? They're just going through the daily motions. They have no particular aspirations. They're content with their life. Maybe they don't care about their health. Maybe you're someone who just started their fitness journey. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to get in shape. You're trying to eat healthier. You're trying to live longer. You're trying to live a better lifestyle. And it's possible that you have people, in your circle who don't care about those things. They don't care about staying in shape. They don't care about what goes into their body. And sometimes people are going to shame you for trying to do better. Sometimes you have to do better. Sometimes you have to let go of people and places and situations in order to level up, in order to do better in your life. You have to let go. And that comes with anything, right? Like, think about little babies that are just learning to walk, right? Like, how are they going to learn to walk if their parents are just holding them all the time or just holding their hand? They have to go out on their own. They have to walk on their own. They have to build their strength. So never be afraid to detach. Never be afraid to leave certain situations, relationships, jobs. Sometimes we just feel this attachment. We feel like we can't leave because we're gonna screw somebody else over, or we can't leave because somebody else is gonna be upset, or we can't leave because it's a risk, right? Never be afraid to take risks. The most successful people in life take the biggest risks. And if you're someone that does a lot of reading, or you follow entrepreneurs, or you read about very successful people's lives and their experiences, you always realize that the pattern is very similar. They're taking risks. They're doing something different. They are going against the grain. They're leaving behind their hometowns, right? They're moving. A lot of these celebrities, right? Like, they moved to LA. They're taking a risk. A lot of them are completely broke, when going to Hollywood and trying to aspire to be actresses and actors and singers and dancers. And sometimes, like, that's just a risk you have to take, because if you don't do it, how are you going to know that you are not capable, right? Like, how are you ever going to know that that wasn't the job for you? How are you ever going to know that that wasn't the opportunity for you? So it's really good to just put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. Stop letting fear hold you back. If you're someone that suffers from anxiety and you just feel anxious about moving forward, and you feel anxious about leaving things behind, and you have this very unhealthy attachment to things or places or people, I would definitely suggest, getting into therapy if you aren't already in therapy. That's something that could definitely help you ease your anxiety, and also just hanging around people who have overcome these struggles, right? People who have overcome these barriers that they felt like they had to deal with, coming out of spaces, maybe leaving their hometown, doing something that's very uncomfortable. We do not grow when we are comfortable, okay? Like, we have to get uncomfortable. And I push that so much to my students, to my clients. Like, we have to be uncomfortable in order to grow, in order to make moves, in order to see progress, in order to see changes in our life that we want to see. We have to do the very uncomfortable things. And not only does that build resilience, that's also going to build confidence, which I talked about in my last video, right? When we're able to tackle things that we felt like we couldn't tackle, when we do new things, when we try new things, when we get out of our comfort zone, that is going to build your confidence. And that's how you're ultimately going to succeed, right? When you're confident, you're like, okay, well, I did this, I could do the next thing, I can keep going. And the sky is a limit, right? There's really no limit. Once you start taking steps in the right direction to get you where you want to be, there's really no limit. And just know that everybody can't come with you on your journey. Like, it's a very sad truth, and it's something that we sometimes just have to deal with. Like, that's just the reality. Not everybody can come with you on your journey. Not everybody has the same drive. Not everybody wants to change. Not everybody wants to face their demons. Not everybody wants to make those uncomfortable changes, right? And not everybody's suit for it. Whatever it is that you're shooting for, you know, whatever it is that your talents are, and everybody's goals are different, right? Like, you might be watching this and your goal could be as simple as spending less time on your phone, right? Spending less time on social media. Maybe that's your goal for this year. If you're constantly around people who are on their phones, just looking down at their phones, or maybe you live in a house with people, your kids or your spouse, who they wake up, first thing they do on their phone. Like, what kind of example is that, right? Like, we need to be around people who are setting good examples for us as well. And the same way that we want to set good examples for people, I know specifically for me, like, I always want to be the example. And even if I'm not following my rule book, right? Like, it's very hard to practice what you preach, but I'm going to make sure I'm still practicing what I preach when I can. And I think the hardest thing of letting go is letting go of friends. Friends come and go. If you're someone who is in your 20s and you're watching this, maybe you already have reached that point where maybe some of your friendships have just slowly diminished. Maybe you're not friends with people from high school anymore. Maybe your best friend, right? Someone that you considered a best friend, maybe you just don't talk anymore. And sometimes, like, there's really no conversation that needs to be had. Like, we always think like, okay, I need closure, I need to talk to this person, I need to explain why I'm not going to talk to them anymore, or why I'm not going to hang out with them anymore. And sometimes, like, that's not even necessary. Like, you don't have to do all that. Don't owe anybody an explanation. And I think, like, we struggle so much with overthinking and always thinking about, like, okay, I have to explain myself. I have to tell this person why I'm not coming around anymore. I have to explain that I'm busy with work. I have to explain that I'm trying to save money. We do not have to explain anything. If you want to, obviously you can. If you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you're literally just wasting your energy. Let things naturally flow. If people are meant to be in your life, they're going to be in your life. It's going to happen, okay? But if people are not meant to be in your life, they're not meant to be in your life. And there's really no need to fight it. There's no need to fight for relationships. I used to be a person that always wanted to fight for relationships. You know, when I was dating, I always used to try to get my point across or explain why, you know, we shouldn't break up, or why I felt like we were supposed to be together, or what potential I see in my partner. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not forcing anything. And I really feel like once you stop forcing things, whatever's meant to be in your life will come in your life. It'll stay in your life. There's going to be a nice flow, right? That's what we want. We want a nice flow in our lives. We don't want to be always trying and pulling and forcing and pushing and going against resistance, right? We don't want that. That only causes stress and anxiety. So let things naturally flow. If you want to have a conversation with someone, maybe it's an intimate relationship, sure. Maybe that person deserves a conversation as to why you don't want to be with them anymore. When it comes to friends, maybe you could have a friend breakup, a nice cordial friend breakup, okay? That's something that you can always do, but sometimes when things are just slowly coming apart, or you're slowly moving away from a situation, or people, just let it happen. Just let it happen, okay? And if that person reaches out to you and they really want you around and they really want you in their lives, be open to the conversation, but also stand your ground. Listen to your intuition. Know exactly why this friendship isn't working. Know exactly why this relationship isn't working. Think about where you're trying to be and where this person is and where this person's trying to be, right? Like, if it doesn't align, it's not gonna work. And for me, alignment in 2023 is everything. Like, I'm only dealing with things that align, okay? And I'm not saying that we have to go through life every single day just like, nope, not doing that, not talking to you. It doesn't have to be extreme, right? It doesn't need to be extreme, but let things naturally flow. Listen to your intuition. It's normal, it's natural to outgrow people. It happens, right? It's a little bit more tough with family, right? Because we are blood related. So if you are dealing with family members that maybe you're not getting along with, or you just don't agree with their lifestyle, or they don't agree with your lifestyle, they don't support you, you don't support them, it's really hard. There's still a way to be family and show up for family. There's gonna be a lot of people who are not okay with the person that you're becoming this year. There's gonna be a lot of people who are uncomfortable with the person that you are becoming, whether that's someone that's more outspoken, whether that's someone that's more successful than them, whether that's someone who is just on a vibration that just doesn't match whatever energy that person's on. You know, like people sometimes, like, they just don't like to see you doing better. Like, that's just the ugly truth. There's a lot of people who do not want to see you doing better than them. And this is something that is well known, right? It's a well-known fact. So if you find yourself really like leveling up and getting to a place where you're like, yo, I'm doing this, I'm living my dreams, I'm getting close to it, I'm paying off my debt, right? I'm spending less time on my phone, whatever it is that you're going for, there's gonna be someone that doesn't like it. So I just want to encourage you to live authentically, live your best life, show up for yourself, never be afraid to stand your ground, never be afraid to listen to your intuition, and never be afraid to let things go. That's how you're gonna grow. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. If this video resonated with you and you're feeling it, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when I upload more videos just like this. And you guys can follow me on my Instagram at WristFitKitty, as well as my dance and fitness page, Real Rhythm Dance Fitness. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Yeah.